Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So today's video is going to be all about how we can kill that annoying Mr. Sinister at 6.2. So later on in the video I'm going to give my full thoughts about this boss and the node design in general. But first of all, what to do if you do not have Heimdall synergy. So if you do not have a 5 or 6 star Heimdall, as far as I'm aware, and I did quite a bit of testing and looking about, there's only one champion realistically that can kill him cheaply, and that's Captain Marvel, just because she is poison immune, just because she has fury buffs by herself on her, and then you're gonna get that window of indestructibility when she enters binary, which can deal with your shock and your incinerate damage. So basic idea is build up to our binary, deal as much damage as we can, max out your Despair Mastery to work with those armor breaks to mitigate the heal Mr. Sinister has, and dish out as much damage you can before you die. So you can pretty much do about 50% of Mr. Sinister's health before you end up dying. And that is pretty much the best you can get if you don't have Heimdall. Now, if you had Cosmic Power Boost and you had boosted up, maybe you can solo him, but I doubt it. But you can probably deal some more damage, obviously. Then, without Heimdall, another way to kind of push through with some revives against this Mr. Sinister is Hyperion. And it's definitely not kind of like a cheap or easy way, but Hyperion is an option here, just because he gets fury buffs, he's poison immune, and you can do that incinerate damage on Mr. Sinister with your level 1, so you can probably take down about 20-25% of his health in one go, or something like that. That is without the Heimdall synergy. Next, so those are pretty much two realistic options that we have without Heimdall synergy. Next is going to be a quick sped up version of my Quake video. So once we do have Heimdall synergy active available, so if we have a 5 or 6 star Heimdall, we have several other options we can use, and we can even solo this guy. So this is a sped up version of my Quake solo against Mr. Sinister. I did post the full video of this yesterday. And then if you have Heimdall synergy available to you, Quake is pretty much your best option, probably, if you can play Quake, just because you can fight as normal. There's nothing annoying or special about this fight. Just basically how to Quake him down just like any other fight. So Quake is a wonderful answer, but once again, only if you have Heimdall and Angela Hela synergy available. And that is really kind of bad node design. So basically, in an entire game, I couldn't find a single champion that can do this fight by themselves in a solo. There is not a single one champion available. So Captain Marvel does best. You can probably do it in one revive at a time. Then we have Hyperion, which is probably going to take 5-6 revives at a time, at least. And then there's nothing else left. I couldn't figure out of any other champion that does this fight without Heimdall synergies, and that is just horrible node design. And so we have Quake solo here, so we're going to take a look at a few more options should you happen to have Heimdall synergy available. And then we're going to be taking a look at Captain America Infinity War. So again, there are two asterisks next to Captain America Infinity War's name. First of all, you need to have Heimdall synergy. Second of all, you need to have him max sig. And lastly, you need to have a skill champion with you to shrug off those incinerates. So with that, we can shrug off incinerate and poison debuffs, which is awesome, but we do need to be careful when we're launching our special attacks. So ideally, I prefer kind of not to at all. And then your playstyle need to be altered a bit as well. You basically can't trigger any buffs on you. That means you need to be very careful with Mr. Sinister. You can't push him too far in power. You need to bait out those level 1s, and you can't trigger dexterity on yourself. You actually might want to kind of remove the dexterity altogether, because that EMP modification, which gives you shock debuffs, the way it works is it basically counts how many buffs you gained since the last time Mr. Sinister activates his special attack, and then when he shoots off his special attack, you get as many shock debuffs on you as many buffs you had basically in between special attacks. So if you do not activate any buffs on you, he can shoot his special attacks and you're not going to get shock on you. And since the shock damage is the only one that's a passive damage, and then we have poison and incinerate, which are active buffs, which Captain is able to shrug off. So we can actually deal with this Mr. Sinister in a single fight using Captain America Infinity War. But again, that is if you have Skill Champion, if he's Max Sig, and if you have Heimdall Synergy. Then Captain America can solo this fight relatively well. It's not too difficult. You still get that increased crit damage, so you hit harder with Captain America in Despair, and like his debuffs, his Petrifying, Mr. Sinister hardly heals. So it's not the longest or the most awful fight, but again, it's like very roster dependent. You need to have like all these things in place in order to be able to use Captain America against Mr. Sinister. So as we can see here, we did lose majority of our health in this fight. Even though we didn't get hit, we took quite a bit of block damage. However, Mr. Sinister is nearly down. If possible at all, try to parry his level 1s, just so he gets extra debuffs on himself. But yeah, so we're gonna finish the fight off here with level 3. So then we're gonna have a few more options for this fight, but again, all of them come available only if you have Heimdall Synergy. Next example, which we're going to be taking a look, it's going to be Red Hulk. So it's not perfect, but it's going to work in kind of like a similar manner. So first of all, we need to activate that Fury from Heimdall Synergy. Second of all, we need to kind of make sure we do not trigger any dexterity, and we basically fight exactly like Captain did. And then the problem is Mr. Sinister's heal. However, Red Hulk doesn't have a high crit rate, and he deals extra energy damage, so you're still kind of able to push through. Obviously, you do not have heal block, and you do not have ways to place a lot of debuffs on him. However, if you do not trigger any buffs, you have Heimdall Synergy, and you have like a 6-star Red Hulk, it's still perfectly viable option. You're not going to be able to solo him, but you're going to be able to chip down at him like a fair amount. And there is also definitely a noteworthy mention of Gladiator Hulk. Gladiator Hulk is much better champion to use here against Mr. Sinister with Heimdall Synergy, just because you don't have to be so careful against those shock passives, because you trigger your Face Me if you have shock on you. You have heal block available to you, and that means you can kind of deal a lot more damage easier and bypass his stuff basically. But yeah, as we can see there, we did do a fair amount of damage to this Mr. Sinister. With our Red Hulk as well. Gladiator Hulk, once again, is better option for this if you have Heimdall Synergy. Unfortunately, without Heimdall Synergy, his passive Fury does not count for Caustic Temper. But yeah, so you need Heimdall Synergy, and then you can fight pretty much normal. I think I saw some solos there previously. Then obviously we also have an option of Blade and Ghost Rider with Heimdall Synergy. I will make a mistake in this video, I will play it wrongly, but your base idea is like once you activate your Heimdall Synergy, which I haven't done yet here, I just fought that Mr. Sinister so many times today, so sorry guys, some of these fights are going to be a bit sloppy. But anyways, you can use Blade, and you can kind of, you can bleed him down with your parries a lot, and build up to your 3 bars of power. The mistake I'm going to make in this video is that I'm going to shoot off my level 3, and then obviously Mr. Sinister is going to throw his level 1, and I'm going to take all that bleed damage on the chin. What you're supposed to do here is build up to level 3 and try and fight him pretty much as normal without triggering buffs. So hit him, do not use special attacks, because then when you're going to gain the poison, when you're going to gain the incinerate debuffs on you, you're going to shrug them off 95% faster. So again, do not, and I repeat, do not use your special attacks like I did here. That was a huge mistake, as you can see here. Pretty much all my health is gone, trying to recover some of it, and the fight's pretty much lost there. However, if you do not use your special attacks, you can use Blade's interaction with debuffs, and he can shrug them off really quickly, hardly taking any damage, plus make use of healing here and there. And I do believe Blade can solo this fight with Heimdall Synergy. You just need to play careful. You basically need to keep your power up high at all times, and do not trigger any of those shocks on you, so you do not trigger dexterity and you're not going to get shocked. So Blade can deal with this fight just fine. Another good option if you have Heimdall Synergy is Vision, because of his heal block, because of the fact that you can pretty much spend an entire fight without triggering a single buff on yourself. So now I'm using Suicide Masteries in this video, and that is obviously not ideal at all about Vision. One thing you will want to do, you'll kind of want to play a really passive, really slowly, making sure you can maximize the amount of time you hit him with heal block. So if you do not have enough power to heal block him, my suggestion here is just wait, just dance about. It actually doesn't matter if you trigger any of your dexterities on yourself or anything like that, just because your idea is you will never let him use any special attacks. So you can most certainly use your visions against Mr. Sinister. Also, I'm not getting any incinerate on myself because my rank 4 vision, and I assume rank 5 vision without suicide masteries, simply does not hit hard enough for that to trigger the incinerate penalty of the global node. Therefore, yeah, vision is also a really viable answer to this fight. And yeah, but once again, you need the handle synergy, which is absolute horse crap if you ask me. And now it's going to be for a bit more aggressive and mad part of the video. And that is simply me saying, Kabam, are you completely off your tits making this note? There is not a single bloody champion in game that can bloody solo this fight by themselves. That is like retarded game design. I'm sorry, like even a stupid 5-year-old who gives their own, I don't know, make-believe superhero all the superpowers in the world couldn't possibly think of something this overpowered and stupid and put Mr. Sinister on top of it. To deal with this fight, you need poison immunity, you need fury buff, you need shock immunity, and you need incinerate immunity. And you do not have a single champion in game who has all that. Then to top it all that, you put Mr. Sinister on it, who is like hard as fuck to kill. So I'm sorry, you retarded dumb pieces of shit. I'm sorry, this is probably the most stupid fight I have ever seen in this game with like least amount of answers. And you should feel bad about yourself. Like you did bad job and you should feel horrible about yourself. There is not a single shadow of a doubt you should remove this node, at least remove Caustic Temper from it or something, because Caustic Temper in itself is horrible node. Combined with all of this horse crap, you guys are absolute a-holes. Right, that's, I guess, more or less done with my address to Kabam, but honestly, this is a textbook definition of a really horrible game design. There's probably, yeah, there's not a single champion that can solo this fight, I believe. Not by themselves anyway. So here, towards the end of the video, I just tried using my rank 3 Iceman and see how he will do, but once again, he has basically the major problem of not having any debuffs, so you can't deal with his regen, and it's just annoying, so he's not gonna do anything too much. But I just needed some extra footage to carry on ranting, like, because honestly, I believe this is probably the most sickening thing I have seen. And I have dealt with Collector a lot. Like, I'd much rather deal with 15 Collectors than one of this crapshoot of a champion, especially if I do not have the right counters. I mean, even with the right counters, even by itself, Mr. Sinister is just a horrible champion to face off against. But with all of this, it's just absolute bullshit. Anyways, that's going to be about me done for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys find it helpful. If you did, do feel free to share it with your friends, share it with your alliance mates, share it with whoever might be struggling with this guy. Hopefully, I did manage to help. And if not, well, then share it anyways and like it for my swearing or something. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna see you guys soon with some more videos.